It's Jack's turn, Felix thought to himself as Kang Jack took the field, his face calm and eyes fierce as he stood before the announcer. At my side a man with an air of veteran? Is this truly a greenhorn? Well, believe it or not, he is! Stepping into the ring for the first time, coming in at a staggering 64 points in the exhibition match, the 9th son of the new generation, Kang Jack. Jack stood with his arms behind his back, his outfit a blue tang suit with a heart symbol on the center left, black and red lines spreading out from it, reminiscent of a cardiovascular system as it ran across his sleeves and continued down his pant legs. And at my side B, a woman dripping with elegance, confidence, and power. A tactician having earned 37 points in the exhibition, new generation's first daughter, Anna Wasser. The woman called Anna was tall and slender, a skin-tight black wetsuit accentuating her fit body, complete with 5mm diving boots, and a bright red open rain jacket added in for color. It's the 8th fight of the tournament, people, the last of the new generation to strut their stuff. Give us a good show, you two. Let's get her underway. With the announcer's words, the two fighters took their stances, tension rising as they stared each other down, moments stretching on as they waited for the bell. When at last the bell rang and the referee faded from sight, it would be Wasser who made the first move, only to have her attack deflected. With his wrist firmly pressed into Anna's, Jack lifted his strike above their heads. Her side now wide open for a counter. His face unchanging, the older fighter in one fluid motion brought his arm down, stepped into his opponent's space, and struck her chest with the palm of his hand. Anna Wasser was sent flying. The young woman's body rolled through the air as Jack held his posture, her limbs seeming to constantly reach out to claw the space around her, remarkably succeeding in slowing her down. A moment later, Anna had managed to more or less halt her flight, though still hovering in midair, stroking as if she was swimming. Silence fell upon the arena as Jack returned to his stance, nobody quite knowing how to process what just happened. He just blew her away, Felix murmured in disbelief, bringing his thumbnail to his mouth as he pondered what happened. Air arts? There would have been a distortion or dust in the air though, right? Remy said, unpersuaded by Jessica's suggestion. That motion, Kusora thought to herself, exchanging glances with Goldbug and Kanzone, the veteran fighters already having a strong idea of what might have happened. Miss Columna was in charge of Mr. Kang, was she not? Kanzone asked. You can ask her yourself. Goldbug pointed to a side about a meter down to a woman with dark, wavy hair, gazing intently at the field as Wasser began to swim her way back to Jack. With butterfly strokes, Anna crawled through the air. The wind propelled her forward, speed giving her moments to consider a strategy. She kept her eyes on Kang as she sped closer, the two coming closer and closer to impact, the older fighter putting weight on his back foot in preparation. Only meters before the two collided, Wasser brought her hands together in front of her and let her body go limp, body tilting forward before sinking into the earth with a splash of dust and rubble. Kang was taken aback by this, his eyes hurriedly scanning the ground before taking a breath, standing straight as he pulled his arms into collapsed hands. The older fighter stood there, silently, emptying his mind as he patiently waited for his opponent to resurface. Val, is Jack doing that thing you Terran artifacts types do? Goldbug asked, voice calling down the benches as his students and peers looked with curiosity and confusion. Thing? It's called Tremor Sensus, Kusora chimes in. Technically, all elements possess some sort of extrasensory abilities. Earth and air types are just known to use it more frequently.
Kang Jack isn't a Taram artifix.
The woman called Coloma spoke up, gaze never leaving the field.
Nor is he an air artifix. He poses no ability to sense people through his element.
What is that Mr. Kang is doing then, Valeria? Kenzo asked.
Right now, Jack is simply without mind. That alone will suffice.
Confused, the young archetypes returned their attention to the field, keeping a keen eye out as Wasa explosively resurfaced a few feet behind King Jack, arms flinging out from overhead, sending a blast of large earthen shrapnel towards the older opponent. With smooth movements, Jack turned around and with a single hand caught the debris shooting towards him, deftly dodging what he couldn't catch as he began to reel his arm back, his motions like water. King Jack returned fire with astounding power and accuracy, knocking Anna's head back with the first stone while the remainder pelted her face, forcing her on her side. Jack simply stood by, waiting for her to recover. Well, this is quite the development, ladies and gentlemen. It seems as though Wasa can't even touch Kang. Could it be victory for Kang, the heart? Or does Anna, the Mariner, have more up her sleeve? Rubbing her cheek, Wasa slowly rose out from the hole she'd made, considering her next move carefully as King Jack gestured for her to come at him.
This guy, he's not even bending. I can't lose. Not before he takes this seriously.
Determined not to be humiliated, Anna bent forward, arms out as she stared down her foe, and proceeded to leap out at him, crawling fervently through the air. Opponent quickly making her way towards him, Jack resumed his guard, hands out as Wasa swum ever closer, expecting her to become a human missile or perform another dive. Instead, as soon as she was within range, the Mariner suddenly forced her body sideways, legs continuing together as a dolphin kick. With little time to react, Jack opted to tilt back, narrowly avoiding the blow. His foe, having anticipated this, let her momentum whirl her about, hands clasped together as her body turned to King Jack, and hammered her conjoining fist into the side of his head. Discontent to leave it at that, Wasa spun once more and kicked the older fighter to the ground.
I have you now.
Anna thought, her body beginning to float down while Jack's fell to the ground head first, only to quickly bounce away. With near inhuman fluidity, King Jack reached for the ground, catching himself before springing away from his younger opponent, his feet sliding over the grass of the field as he brought his hands to his side. His gaze fierce and stance firm, Jack threw his hands out, body suddenly fly towards the still recovering Anna at great speed. With a thunderous bam, his palms crashed into the sideways woman's stomach, a deep pained gasp escaping her lips as once more she was blasted through the air, body soon skipping across the ground before coming to a halt. Anna laid there for a moment, her vision blurry as she attempted to raise her head, her breath ragged as she attempted to breathe, body sore and slow to respond. She could hardly notice the count beginning as she struggled to rise even to her knees. Jack calmly walked towards her. I see now those were water art motions, Remy exclaimed, catching the interest of his friends. They are the same pulling and pushing motions we use. Isn't that right, Miss Kusona? Good eye. Indeed, that was water-style bending, with some earth put in to supplement it. But mine didn't bend anything, Jessica pointed out, her coach quick to correct her. Nothing that you could see, Hermes. Confused look spread across Jessica's face, while one of shock spread across Felix's. Wait, you mean... You've got the idea, right, kid? Goldbug looked to his student for confirmation. He's pending blood, right? Ding ding, correct. King Jack's heart is a blood art archetype, a subset of the water element. The bell rang out as the knockout count concluded, Wasa unable to recover in time. That's the match, everyone! The winner of the 8th battle of the Greenhorn Tournament, King Jack, the Heart! As the crowd cheered on the older fighter, he knelt beside Wasa, gently propping her on her back, and against his knee as he brought 2 fingers to his heart. With a steady hand, he weaved around her chest and her abdomen, pulling back slightly before gingerly pressing his palm into it. A faint glow emitted beneath Wasa's skin as her breathing gradually became steady. "What's he doing?" Felix asked as he watched the scene before him. Oh, right. The med staff hasn't tended to you as much, so you might not have noticed. The fascinating thing about water archetypes, they can use it to heal themselves and others. At least some can. Her vision and head steadily becoming clearer, Anna found herself staring up at the concerned face of her victorious opponent.
Jack, what are you?
Forgive me. I have quite a bit of practice, so I took the liberty of healing your wounds.
Oh, you're an aqua artifix.
Wasa grumbled as she rose up.
Jeez. I tried to get you to take me seriously and only wound up more embarrassed. You didn't even bend during the fight.
What do you mean? From the moment our battle began, I came to you with all I had. That includes using the Archetype to the fullest.
Huh?
My power allows me to bend blood, but it's a style of water that requires immense amount of training to be able to use from a distance. And in my case, no amount of training will allow that. As Kang was explaining the intricacies of his power, his younger master gazed intently at her pupil from the sides. Well, it looks like Jack has the whole healing thing down to a T. How about?
He has to. He's a lot like you, Dylan. No matter how hard he trains, the full potential of being a Sangui's artifix will be denied to him. So he does what you do, and channels it into his pre-existent combat ability.
I see. I imagine those first weeks were, painful.
Immensely.
Lama spoke, voice shuddering as her hands tightened around each other.
You didn't complain, though. Not once in our 2 months of training did that man lament his power or curse his training. When he hurt, he smiled. When he bled, he laughed. He trusted in me, that I would guide him properly and aid him where I could.
Valerie watched, tears forming in the corner of her eyes as she stared at her pupil's smiling face. Not a sign of torn muscles or interior punching to be seen. Even the bruise from Wasa's attack had faded as a small smile curled on Columba's face. He's become quite formidable in a short time, huh? The old bug spoke.
More than that, King Jack has become a master in his own right.
With the 8th match concluded, the first half of the Greenhorn tournament had ended. This has been the most intense day of my life, Felix groaned out as he walked the halls of Hulk City Arena. A recess had been called to allow for the fighters to rest and strategize, and, in the young man's case, talk with his peers. You remember we were in a street fight, yes? Jessica reminded. No, I agree with Felix. It's one thing to be in a fight. It's another for it to be a fight of a tournament you've been training for. You've got to be the opening act, too. I'm jealous. Gee, thanks, Ram. I'll be sure to remember that when I'm lobbing fireballs at you. Ouch. Well, just be careful I don't return to sender with some interest, my friend. Or have your bet blown up in your face again, Jessica taunted. Felix smiled contentedly with his friends, enjoying their company as they bantered back and forth, the young fighters swearing up and down they could beat the other two, the demon himself getting into it more than he'd ever imagined he would. There's no way we fight and you don't throw a single ounce of fire, Remy said in disbelief. I'm telling you, with Dylan's training on top of my heads, I'm sure I could make a better hand-to-hand fighter. He's got himself a hell of a kick, too. A familiar voice sent shivers up Felix's spine as he turned a corner, his instinct screaming at him all at once in a singular order. Strike first. Without the slightest hesitation, the demon turned to the voice, fist rearing to his head before bearing down in a fearsome jab. However, in nearly an instant his attack was intercepted with a long guard. The opposite hand of the enemy snapped at the young man's neck. Whoa there! Since when were you so trigger-happy? Well, shit! Borgia mocked with glee as his hated foe dangled in his grasp. Undeterred, Felix attempted to throw out a kick into the older fighter's chin, only for Ricardo to violently toss the boy into the nearby wall, pulling him back just enough to keep him from his shadow. Shit. How are you? What? We hoping the teachers would keep the big bully away? Aww. With Felix in trouble, Remy and Jessica swiftly moved to his aid, striking at Ricky's side simultaneously in hopes of tossing him off their friend. Their attacks collided into the sadistic fighter with a thunderous bam. Despite their strength, their efforts barely nudged Ricky, his flesh like iron against their knuckles. Huh? Did some gnats land on me or something? The trio scowled in frustration, attacks doing no visible damage to the enemy before them, his stranglehold on Felix keeping him from bending properly, no ability to breathe or sink into the darkness. Hey, you're the jobber I gotta fight next, yeah? How lucky. I can cripple both of you at once and skip to the finals! Within a moment of finishing his sentence, Ricardo raised his leg high above his head, Remy taking a sharp breath in anticipation of what would come next. Time seemed to slow down for the gambler, his hands moving into position to catch Trebagio's attack, his heart calm as he looked up at the older fighter's foot. Calmer than it had ever been, eerily calm. Right up until a single thought creeped into his head as he saw his foe's foot twitch. I can't catch this! In an instant, two things happened. One, Ricardo brought his foot down upon Remy, and two, he was sent flying back before it could graze the stubble-faced young man. The sadistic warrior gasped in pain, the sudden momentum ripping him off Felix and sending him skidding across the floor. Fucker! Who? Ricky choked out, lifting his head to see who had assailed him. The hearty Kang Jack. 9? Jack! The demon gasped out, rising to his feet gradually, as his foe did the same. Fuck are you doing here, old bastard? The recess is coming to an end. I was asked to help search the area for my peers, given the speed I demonstrated. Jack kept a stern eye on Trebagio, body ready to move in defense of his fellows, as their shared foe glared them down. Your fight is up next, is it not? If you say you deserve to be here, you're supposed to prove it. Again and again. A man who chooses this path can be nothing more than a coward. Fuck you say! Ricky growled, the two men staring each other down for a moment that seemed to last for minutes, one daring the other to make a move. Eventually, the hoary fighter spat at the ground and turned reluctantly, mumbling how he'd killed the three men before him. Thanks, Jack. Felix gasped out, Remy following after. Indeed, merci. Quite a close call. Remy, right? You shouldn't thank me quite yet. You're still fighting with that man now. With recess coming to a close, the fighters returned to the field. The 9th battle of the Greenhorn tournament ready to begin as everyone took their places. At my side A, a dauntless warrior that never backs down from a bet, Remy the Gambler! Feels like a fraudulent statement with how certain I was I'd die just a moment ago, Remy thought. And at my side B, a monstrous individual that invited himself in, Ricardo the Muscle! The crowd booed the dirty blonde psychopath. The two fighters took their stances, a worried look on the referee's face as he kept them separated. Ready to die, gambler brat? Still time to piss off. You leave now, won't turn you into a smear. Oh, so run away? Like you did? Contempt couldn't begin to describe the look upon Trebagio's face as the announcer rang the bell and began the fight.